Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about the new general, Artemisia the First. So this was a new archer general that was released this event in the historic general tab. You can see just from her main skill book, her stats are pretty high compared to other people. And her specialties are not bad. Her last is pretty good, her fourth, but the others are pretty basic, pretty much what you'd expect from such a general. We can see there's some pretty good march size on the third star, which is really nice that it's there instead of how Romulus was, the last really good siege general they released, where the march size was on the fifth star. Really hard to get a new awakened general that's not in the tavern unless you're a coiner. So this is pretty nice for a lot of people, because from doing the champions and killing your thieves and everything like that, you can probably get enough boxes that when there's an event like this, you can get the new general to the 3 stars. So that was pretty cool. The Covenant, you also get some march size down at the bottom there. And the Covenant generals this time are pretty basic. The top being in the tavern. I feel like everyone who plays Ebony has a copy of Leonidas. This last was harder to get, but I got lucky, and when I was trying to get Artemisia, I got a copy of him, so I lucked out really well. But that's another problem I have in the past when I've wanted to switch generals, is the Covenants are just the most obscure. Like, some of them I've never even seen before. No idea where to get them. So even if I wanted to and I had all the rune stones and everything, it wouldn't matter, because I wouldn't have anything for the Covenant. But enough about that. Let's see just how good Artemisia really is. So right here, I added up the stats, and I added a little bit of extra information here. So these will be the stats. All of these that you can see on screen right now are Artemisia's stats with different numbers of red stars, all with full specialty and no Covenant. So at the top, you can see that's with no red stars. So if you just get one copy of Artemisia and you make her full specialty, you'll have 135% attack, 95 defense, and 85 HP. That's definitely not bad, but that's really nothing crazy. So I'm assuming any archer general you're already using will have some specialty, maybe a red star or 2, meaning that, in my opinion, if you were to switch to a 0 red star Artemisia, the benefit you would gain, if any, would be negligent, and it wouldn't be worth the gem cost and runestone cost to even switch. So it's good to know what the no red star value is in case you wanted to make Artemisia an assistant, but I would not recommend switching if you can not get any red stars on her. Now for 3 red stars, which takes 7 copies, this is what I did, you'll get 170% attack, a 110% defense, 85 HP, and 10 march size. So between no red stars and 3 red stars, you're getting not very many more buffs. You're getting no more HP, 15% defense, and 35% attack. That is good, right? 35% attack is a big deal. But the key here is the march size. You're really going for the 3rd star for the march size. Then with 5 stars, which would be awesome to get, but it's very difficult unless you get packs and you can have the historic general tokens, and then it would be way easier. You'll be getting 210% attack, 135% defense, 110 HP, 10% march size, and a little bit of rally cap at the bottom. The rally cap is not really great, I guess, especially for someone like myself who only joins rallies. And if you are a rally leader, this isn't really great, because you will be want to using people such as Wallenstein, who gives like 35% rally capacity. I used to use him, I can't remember now, but you would use people like that who really give a lot. You wouldn't really worry about this. Then separately, you can see the covenant buffs at the bottom here. You'll get 10%, or for attack, you'll be getting 15% of just straight up attacking. So if you're soloing or rallying, you'll get 15%, and then you'll get 10 in rallies. For me, it's pretty easy because I don't really solo people, so I just look at that as 25% to my rally. Then you'll be getting 10% defense, 20% HP. Again, if you're rallying, if you're soloing, you'll only be getting 10. Then you get some more march size, but no rally cap. So for the 3 different levels of red stars, you can see the different stats here. So the order those go in are the same as they are above, from left to right or top to bottom. It's attack, defense, HP, march size, then rally cap. And these totals at the bottom are the buffs for the different red stars in addition to the covenant buffs. So these totals are assuming you have maxed out the covenant, which again, with how generous I guess Ebony was making these covenant generals for Artemisia, I think is a definite possibility for a lot of people. But depending on your archer general, like I said earlier, this may not be worth it for you to switch. For me, you can see the stats of my Simeon, who had 5 red stars at the bottom here. So compared to a no-star Artemisia, Artemisia would be a lot better than Simeon, especially when you look at defense and HP. But the march size being 2% higher, rally capacity is lower, attack is almost identical, that would not be worth the 700, 800,000 gems to get the specialty on her, and then nothing to do with Simeon afterward. But since I could get 3 stars, I'm getting a pretty good bonus. So after looking at this, I could very easily tell that I should switch. You'll see at the bottom that this is what I gained. So I gained almost 50% attack, 75 defense, 55 HP, 12% march size, and I did lose my rally capacity, but that's not really a big deal. But I mean, about 180% in buffs and some march size on top of that, it was a no-brainer for me. This is exactly the kind of general for which I've been saving my general boxes, and I've been trying to save up some gems and rune stones and everything so I could make the switch and just go all in. If you weren't able to get Sydney and are looking to change your archer generals, I would definitely consider switching to Artemisia. And it's important that all of these stats are without skill books. So Artemisia, I believe, can have the attack book. Simeon cannot. So if I were to use a different assistant general, because that still prevents me from doing so, but if I used a different assistant general, I could get 25% more attack on top of this. And I actually made a pretty big change this event where I actually swapped my primary and secondary archer generals. So I was using Simeon as my primary and Louis the Ninth as my secondary. I actually changed to Artemisia and James Cook. I was lucky enough to be able to get all 4 specialties max, the 3rd star for the march size, got the covenant maxed, and I was even able to get a copy of James Cook, which I couldn't get the event in which he was released, but I got one when I was looking for Artemisia, was able to get him full specialty, and I have all 3 generals luckily for his covenant. So next battlefield, hopefully I can level up the bottom 2 a little bit more and unlock that final 10% range attack in HP. And then I'll be getting way more buffs, because just as Artemisia was a ton better than Simeon, James is so much better than Louis. So in conclusion, Artemisia is a really solid general. If you're using almost anyone aside from Sydney, maybe Marcus Agrippa, I would definitely consider switching to Artemisia. She's a very solid general, good march size, good buffs. And if you're anything like me, where you're using all relics for your generals, then you can get some fresh blood in your lineup. That is all for the generals today. I have 2 more things I would like to share. So we hit 15 subscribers, I think yesterday, could have been today, which is pretty awesome. because I uploaded my first video a week ago now, and that was a short. My first quote-unquote real video was 5 days ago, so that's pretty cool that we're already up to 15 subscribers. Another thing I wanted to talk about was in YouTube Studio, I saw that on my most viewed video has 1,200 views, that only 0.3% of people that watched are subscribed. I would highly encourage you guys to subscribe because I will definitely be making more videos on server war, about battlefields, so be sure to subscribe and turn the post notifications on so you can see when I make a video. And also be sure to like and leave a comment on my videos so I can see any suggestions you may have moving forward, what you liked, what you didn't like, and I can change a couple things up if it will make my videos more enjoyable for you all.